Hello, 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 friends, and welcome to another live show of A Lead Like the CEO. Come on in, come on in. Happy Wednesday. How y'all doing? Come on in. So, if you are new to my space, welcome. I'm Chevy Mac, and I will get into who I am. But before I get into who I am, I want to make sure that you can hear me. Drop in the chat. I'm streaming live on LinkedIn, which is my main platform, but also on YouTube as well. So definitely when you're done watching me over here, I want you to go over there and subscribe and check me out there as well. It's Chevy Mac, Lead Like a CEO. And I am also on Facebook as well at Chevy Mac with the green shirt because there's a couple Chevy Max out there profiles that I have. But happy Wednesday, y'all. As y'all come in, drop in the chat. Let me know how you are doing today. Before I get started, I want to make sure that I get a feel of how you're feeling, your energy, your mood, because it is the middle of the week. It is hump day. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And today we're talking about self-talk because we know the holidays are coming up. We got Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, if you celebrate, because I know everyone does not celebrate the holidays, but also we have the New Year's coming up as well too. And this can be a time where it is very challenging for some of us as we navigate life, career, business, all the things parenting, and that self-talk is so critical and so important for you, for me, to make sure that we not only finish out 2024 in a healthy way, mentally as well too, but that we go into 2025, having that strong self-talk, even though things may not be happening how you would love for them to happen. So come on in, say hello to me. I'm just going to double check because I want to make sure that you can hear me. And I believe you can, but if I don't see your chat, okay, perfect. I have someone here, Samantha. Welcome, welcome, welcome. She said, "Hey Chevy, hey Samantha. Thank you for joining, and drop in the chat where you're joining in from on the Lead Like the CEO show. I kind of want to get a feel of my audience of where you guys are located. And today we are talking about self-talk. So before I jump into today's episode and show, who am I? I am Chevy Mack, a retired Air Force veteran after 22 plus years of serving the United States Air Force. 22 amazing, challenging, fun years. I will say I was able to do so much. I was able to travel. I have years of experience of leadership training, education, development, mentorship, running operations, mortuary, all of the things. And now I bring all of my expertise and my love of people and developing people into helping establish mission-driven organizations and establish mission-driven business owners and organizational leaders to elevate their leaderships, increase their team performance and growth by helping them to regain their time. And I do that through my proven strategies and process, things that I've done in the military when it comes to running my own operations, leading my team, and much more. So welcome. So this is a place for you if you have a business, you are really focused on mission-driven impact, not just a financial aspect, and you have been in business for a while and you're looking for proven strategies to help you elevate your leadership, increase your team performance and your growth while regaining your time, then this is a place for you. And Samantha is joining us from New Jersey. Awesome. That is where I call home, even though I've lived all over the United States and overseas. Jersey will always be my home here in the U.S. Thank you for joining, Samantha. And also, while you're listening, Samantha, and as you all come in, drop in the chat how you're feeling. It is hump day. And let's talk about self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? Is it, do you talk to yourself, in a healthy way, unhealthy way? If you're comfortable sharing, okay? I don't want to put anyone on the spot because I know all of us go through this self-talk process and journey as life is happening. So I really want to talk about this because as a business owner, as a mom, as a sister, as a person, definitely I've gone through my own self-talk, and I'll share a little bit about my journey and my story. But I'm that person. I don't like to be in that space. I'll share what I do. But we all go through a cycle of where when life is going well, where the energy is there, the positivity is there. So I'm going to just talk about, when we are dealing with life as a whole. And as y'all come in, like I said, drop in the chat how you're doing and how you're feeling today. It's really, when I'm going to do two things. So when it comes to when it comes to the power of self-talk, okay, let me slow down because sometimes I can go fast and then with my accent, it jumbles. But I want to talk about the power of self-talk, and I'm going to look at this two ways: the positive self-talk, and then the negative self-talk. And it all depends on what's happening with us as individuals, what's happening with our businesses, what's happening in our organization. And when we are in that positive self-talk, that means, usually life is going great, you're in a healthy relationship, things are flowing, like you're in your zone. And we don't really think about the negative things that are going on because we're in a happy place. Our, our mood is more even kill. We're excited. We're dealing with joy. We are experiencing joy. We experience excitement. But then when life happens, that self-talk shifts. So for example, if you are under stress, Samantha, you're here, drop in the chat. Give me an example of, when you were under stress, what was a self-talk or something that you said to yourself under stress that more than likely I can relate. Maybe other people who are listening can definitely relate as well too. Let me share this as you are thinking and typing. Oh, she said, I've learned to speak to myself, speak nice to myself. I love that. And a friend that I had, a close friend, and I remember, my friend will say stuff, about, man, I look ugly, or, well, referring to herself, in a negative way. And I'm like, girl, stop. Like, why are you speaking like that to yourself? And this is part of the self-talk. It's not just, about business. It's not about just, your work, but it's about how you speak to yourself. The self-talk is really focused on how are you treating yourself as an individual when you show up, for yourself, when you show up in your workplace, when you show up in your business. And for me, I remember when I was experiencing anxiety, and, this is when you're under stress, because when your amygdala is activated, you're thinking certain things. And that thought does not go away. It keeps going. It keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And for me, as I look back during my time when I was experiencing anxiety, my self talk was unhealthy because it was so much fear going on. So if you look at my two brains right here, okay, when we are under extreme stress and then we start getting that fear, that doubt, then what's going to happen with the fear? That fear, I'm going to use this as the red brain. This fear brain will dominate everything else. And that's what I was experiencing. So for me, that self-talk of, what is not working, why am I feeling this way, was very unhealthy. And I had to do a mental shift for me, because I knew if I continued to go down that rabbit hole of unhealthy thoughts, it was not going to be good for me or my family, because it was taking me down a rabbit hole, friend, okay, to the point where it scared me. So as you are navigating all of the things, life, being a mom, being a wife, if you're a husband, if you are, you're running your business, I know that it can be challenging to run a business, especially if you're not making the money, but you're doing all the work. Because trust me, I've been working in my business. There were times where I'm working, I'm, going out, I'm investing, and I've invested and I did not, see returns. And I'm like, self-talk, like, why are things not working for me? X, Y, and Z. But for me, I try my best not to allow myself to go no more than a day feeling like blah, because I know if I allow myself to get in that cycle of, oh my goodness, because I'm very energetic, I'm very positive, I'm a very positive person. So my kids be like, mommy, even my students, when I was on active duty, like, Sergeant Mac, you're always like high energy, excited. And I am. But when things are not happening for us as a whole, sometimes we do get down, we do feel sad, we do feel like, man, I'm doing all this work and I'm not seeing the results. I've been there with you, friend. So I definitely understand. But how do you self-talk yourself to get out of that? And that is something that I truly had to do when I was dealing with anxiety, because it was like two sides of the brain. Where one side, when I'm, doing things, I'm interacting, I'm good. But when I was alone, this is when all the chatter started, the self-talk, the negative self-talk. And then I had to literally go in the mirror. So that is one strategy that you can do, is go and talk to yourself in the mirror. And when I was going through this mental drama of going down the rabbit hole, I remember sharing with a friend, like, hey, like, I had to talk to myself and out loud, and I had to verbally say to myself certain things. And my friend laughed at the time, and she's like, what? She's like, and I was like, you don't talk to yourself? She was like, no. She's like, I do, but it's in silence, like she, in her head. And for me, no, it's not just talking to yourself, silently in your head. You have to, for me, I have to verbally say it, what I need to say. Let me share some stuff Samantha said. We said that. All right. She said, I remember the days when I doubted abilities to grow to the next level, and I'll point out all my perceived failures. Yes, and you are not alone, Samantha. So, like, drop in the chat, like, how did that make you feel? Because it really puts you in that fear mindset. It can lead to depression. It can lead to anxiety. So now we are creating all these different emotions because we are creating these negative self-talk about ourselves. So think about it. Every thought that you create, you are creating an emotion for those thoughts. So if you are feeling like you're a failure, what's going to happen? Your body is going to automatically drop, like your shoulders, because you're going to be walking around looking sad. You're not going to be happy. So you're shifting your entire emotions based on just your thoughts every single day. And when you are self-talking and telling yourself, hey, I'm a failure, I don't know what I'm doing in business, my team is not producing X, Y, and Z, you're looking at everything as a problem, then think about how is that impacting your ability to show up as your best. How is it impacting your ability to navigate the challenges that comes with being a leader, the challenges of being a CEO of your business, being the CEO of your life, being a leader in your organization? So think of that as I'm sharing this. And if you are resonating with what I'm saying, excuse me, drop a 3 in the chat. Okay, drop a 3 in the chat. Also, Samantha said, but when I started looking at things as differently as learning experiences instead of losses or rights or wrong, this is when it shifted for me how I speak to myself better, because it became a strategy to grow. Yes, we have to look at how can we grow from the thing that did not work out, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a opportunity in a organization, whether that's a client not signing. And I've had clients say yes and then ghosted me, or say, hey, send the invoice, and didn't do anything with it. But I don't allow those moments to keep me in a negative self-talk. I look at it like, okay, this didn't happen. Yes, I feel a certain way, but okay, I'm moving on. And one thing that I do for me, like when I say self-talk, I say out loud, like, get your ish together. Okay. I tell myself to get my ish together. So you have to figure out, what is it that you have to tell yourself when you feel like you are going down that rabbit hole of unhealthy thoughts. Because when I was going through and experiencing anxiety and thoughts that scared the heck out of me, I went to that mirror in my bathroom and I said certain affirmations. I would say, this is all in my head, like the song Nelly, and I've shared this before, I believe on another episode or another live. Like I would say to myself, I would sing the song Nelly, it's all in my head. I cannot sing, but your girl was singing in the bathroom, because that helped me to release those negative thoughts, because that's not who I was. Generating those thoughts is something that I created due to fear, due to the anxiety. So everything that you are feeling, you are thinking, it's all created by you. I had another client, this was a couple years ago, and self talk was a challenge for her, where she would talk negatively um, to herself based on past relationship, past marriage outcomes. So just talking to her and giving her a different viewpoint of how she can move forward helped her to overcome and release that negative self-talk. And it can be done, but so often we get so trapped into just, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of X, Y, and Z. And we let that manifest and become bigger into something that we cannot even control. And now it becomes our belief, like, this is who I am, and it's not. Samantha said it was a fear of failure. And you are not alone, my friend. So many people have a fear of failure. And then we start, conjuring up all these different things of why you're not successful, or why you don't want, why this X, Y, and Z will not happen for you. Yes, Samantha, like, she is feeling this conversation. And yes, we do have to create a new thought. And we can do that by looking at our current situations and really identifying, what thoughts am I continuously generating? Because again, you are generating the thoughts, no one else. Every thought that comes about, you're the one generating, creating the thoughts. And every time that you create a thought that is unhealthy, you are activating your fear brain, which is your amygdala. You are transferring all of those thoughts into your hippocampus. And I like to call it your memory bank. So imagine if you are telling yourself every single day or every other day, when things are not going right, when life is happening, when business is not thriving, and you're telling yourself, and you're focused on all the things that are not going well with that, with your self-talk. Everything that you are thinking is connected, being transferred to your memory bank. So now you're letting your memory bank store all the negative things that you are thinking about or saying silently to yourself. So what is that going to do for you long term? It is going to impact your ability to show up, to be an effective leader, because now you're operating with a fear mindset. And you can get out of this by activating your self-talk. Samantha said, is that why it takes so long to change our thoughts? Yes. Yes, because if you have the amygdala, which is your fear, your, like, for example, with me, and I did not learn this until I joined the Optimind Institute and learned about how the brain functions, how the brain operates, how the amygdala is connected to, right next to the hippocampus, which is your memory bank. So all of that, I'm like, wow, this is why I was going through this cycle of, anxiety and fear and all the things and all these thoughts, and all the thoughts that came about. I did them. I created them. Everything that you are thinking, you are creating those thoughts. So imagine if you flip that to where it's like, okay, this negative thought, how can I flip it to something positive? And I'm not saying life is easy. I'm not saying business is easy. What I'm saying is, how do you counter? How do you respond? It goes back into operating with more emotional intelligence, because the fear brain loves when we are fearful. It loves when we are feeding it all the things that are going wrong in life, because the more that we're able to feed that part of our brain, the more it's going to keep us in a chokehold. It's going to keep us from taking opportunities. It's going to take us the opportunity for us to believe and be innovative. So it impacts your quality of life, not just your business, not just your work environment. It impacts your overall quality of life. So, if your business is not where it needs to be, or you feel like you've been working hard and things are not flowing, I understand because I've been there. And business as an entrepreneur, ups and downs. Okay. But when things are not going right, I want you to ask yourself, how can I pivot and shift my thought pattern right now? Because if you continue to operate on this side of your brain, we're called the red brain, this will continue to dominate how you move, how you live, how you operate. And when I was going through my anxiety, especially in the beginning stage of what I was experiencing, and everything around me was, for me, was very scary, but also fearful, because in my head, it was out to get me. Okay. I felt like I was going cuckoo. Okay. And maybe you've probably felt like that. And I had to take control of my thoughts. And I'm so glad that I did, because there was a point where I was afraid to even get in my car to drive. And I had to, because I was fearful, like, oh my goodness, if I get into this car, this is going to happen. I'm going to get vertigo. This is going to happen. So I had to rely on my ex-husband, my husband, now ex-husband at the time, to drive me to work. And then I had to talk to myself and say, what am I doing? I don't want to become so dependent on other people to where I am not living, that I have to have this person drive me here, drive me there. I did not want that. So I took control of the red brain and started countering them, to where I would tell myself, we'll call this the golden brain. I will tell myself, like, no, I can do this. This is called positive affirmations, reaffirming yourself, like, hey, you got this. And I had to tell myself that every single day, because when I did not, this part of my brain, that fear brain, was so strong and dominant that it took over. But I had to start using more of that positive self-talk. Because the more because remember I said that fear brain, oh yeah, the more you feed it, oh, it gets bigger. It gets bigger and bigger. But the more that you start countering that with the positive, even when life is happening, because guess what? Life was happening for me during that time, because I had a 6-month-old, I had a 5-year-old, I was active duty full time as well. I had finished school, but I was doing a lot. I was teaching. So I had to find my balance. I went to counseling as well too, because again, those negative thoughts were so strong. And then I had to counter that with the golden brain, because the more I shift my thought process, now I'm filling my memory bank with positive thoughts, which counter this, kind of like it drops down. And now this golden brain gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is what you want. Every thought that you think and generate, it comes from you, friend. Okay. All right. What Samantha said. Let's go back from here. She said, yes, that's how I felt, like I couldn't breathe when I focused on everything I told myself was wrong. Yes. Yes. You know what? I love that you share that, Samantha. So thank you so much for sharing that. And this is a great example of what happens when we continue on this path of, I would say, self-destruction with our thoughts. It impacts our entire body, our abilities, our abilities to breathe. I can't even speak. Our abilities to breathe. Okay. Something you feel like you're about to suffocate. And I've experienced that as well too. Because again, we are feeding that fear brain. And Samantha also said, she said, fear is a mean man. It will hold you hostage and make you should stand still, make you stand still or hide. Yes. Yes. But we get the choice. We get the choice to release it. But we have to build that mental resilience to do such. Because I get it. It is challenging. It is hard. But when you push through, that mental push through to get it started, you will see a difference. You will start bringing back that light in your face, the joy, because now you're not in that rabbit hole of saying what is not working, that you're not good enough, that you're a failure, or fearful that X is happening, even though nothing has happened. Because for me, when I was experiencing anxiety, I kept thinking something was going to happen, something negative was going to happen to me. But it never did. But I kept feeding that thought over and over every day. And another thing that I had to do was I listened to music. I couldn't watch the news because the news was negative. I had to put on music that really shared, like, or the songs were more like transformational songs, positive songs. So you have to surround yourself with positive things and people, because you cannot be in an environment where you want to get better with your self-talk when you're surrounding your people who are always constantly looking at what's not working for them or what's not going right in life, in business, etc. Okay. So when it comes to self-talk, you are in control. So when life is happening, business is happening or not happening, or you're working in an organization and you feel like you're just not good enough, or maybe you were rejected for a position and now you're down. No, ma'am. No, sir. I want you to tap into that golden brain of yours. Okay. Find you some affirmations and read those affirmations out every single day. I had a client, and mindset and how they saw themselves and etc. was an issue for them. And I am that person. I am that, person that you're going to work with. I'm like, nope. Here's a deck of cards, motivational cards, affirmation cards to reset your mind. And you want to do that 30 days continuously, because again, it's part of creating habits. And the more you do something, guess what? The better you get at doing that thing. The more you activate this red brain, the more negative it becomes, more fearful, which takes away your joy, your happiness, and your quality of life. And you don't want that. You want that golden brain to shine as much as possible, even when you're going through challenging times. All right, let me know that you're still here. Let me know what is one of your takeaways from this live today, especially when it comes to self-talk. Today was all about focusing on making sure that we don't continue on that rabbit hole, or go down the rabbit hole of unhealthy thoughts. And that means, like, when we're going through life, business, career, that we are looking at, how can I look at this situation and not look at the things that went wrong? But how can I look at myself and talk to myself and say, hey, I did my best, especially during stressful time. As the holidays are, approaching us, make sure that you have a plan, because this can be a lonely time for some of us. Oh, great question. Samantha said, what's an affirmation you say every day? Girl, you fine. Honestly, like one of the things that I say, I look in the mirror like, "Ooh, girl, you look good." Um, but one thing I will say, I said, different things depending on the mood, depends on what's going on in life. And even like with a 5 year old, sometimes I'm like, "Ooh, Lord, keep me sane today. Keep me sane today." It could be something simple. And some things I've said, hey, you know what? Let's get it. Let's get it. I'll play some music to get my day started. If I feel like, you know what, like even like today, as I was sitting in my car before I went into the gym, and I wasn't feeling like really energetic to go, but I'm like, whew. So I sat in my car for 30 minutes just to kind of center myself, because sometimes when we don't center ourselves, we become, we get up, we all in our heads, like we start thinking things. And I went in there and I had a great workout and my energy shifted. But imagine if I would have sat in that car, drove off, came back home, my day would be different because my frame of mind would be different. So you have to look at your current situation, talk to yourself. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself out loud in your home or in your car as you're driving, because again, everything that you think about, you create, and you get to decide which part of the brain you're going to activate. And I want to activate this side. I want to activate my golden brain consistently, okay? All right, friends. Any other questions before I call it a day? All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining me, Samantha. If you're watching this later on, #replay. Samantha said, "Hello. Well, today was a reminder to take time for me and get back into me. I am I am statement as affirmations. I am statements as affirmations." I would love to know, what do you say to yourself? What is one thing that you say to yourself, Samantha, each day to get out of your funk, or to stay in that golden brain, that golden part of your brain? Yes, like I am statements are amazing. I know some people don't believe in it, but I'm telling you, you shift your mindset by the thoughts that you create every single day. So I don't care what mantra that you say or do. Hey, if it works, it works. Yes, but let me know what is one thing that you say, Samantha, before. I would love to share it with the audience. But thank you all so much for joining. There's so much that you can say to yourself. Make it positive, make it energetic, make it transformative, but don't allow the self-talk, the negative self-talk, to keep you or take you down this rabbit hole where you end up with a fear mindset, anxiety, depression, all the different things that comes because you have shifted your mind into the fear mindset, the gold brain. And Samantha said, she said, "I am enough. I am worthy." Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are. And these are things that you can transfer to your kids, because I know I do. When my son feels like, he is a introverted, and sometimes, and I'm going to close out after this, sometimes he's 14, and sometimes he'll, say certain things, and I'm like, nope, we're not doing that today. No, sir. X, Y, and Z. Just like he took his JROTC pictures, and I was like, hey, did you take some pictures? And he did not bring the pictures to me. Oh, kids and boys, they like to keep stuff. And I'm like, hey, did you get some pictures? He's like, yeah. And I was like, why didn't you bring the pictures to me? He's like, I don't like them. I said, why? He said, my smile. I said, let me see. So again, as the mom, because he's looking at it as a negative thing. And, kids, when they're young, they can take themselves through this rabbit hole of sadness for no reason. And I saw the picture. I was like, buddy, this is beautiful. Like your smile. He's like, no, I feel like my smile is fake. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, you're smiling just like your mama. Beautiful. And then it's like he shifted. I'm like, stop thinking that your smile is not beautiful. And I'm like, you're a handsome young man. And y'all, don't take this the wrong way. And I said to him this morning too, and I'm like, hey, buddy, have a great day. I always give him that, love and hugs in the mornings. And I was like, hey, buddy, you're a handsome young man. He was like, I was like, you are. I said, don't worry, the girls will be on you as you get older. He's like, well, they're not now. I'm like, I'm like, true, because you're only 14. But I'm telling him like, hey, as you get older, things will happen. Don't look at it as, well, the girl's not on me now. You're still young, buddy. But I share that just to say that our kids are experiencing these self talks, daily. They're influenced daily. So as parents, we need to make sure we are doing our own self talks every single day to make sure that we are able to support our kids in their needs as well too. Samantha said, "I'm learning and growing." It's every day for all of us. Samantha, all of us are learning and growing every single day. It's a daily habit that we have to do every single. It's not just, hey, let me just do this today and that's it. No, part of building that resilient mind and activating that golden part of your brain, excuse me, is something that we must do every single day because we are experiencing a lot of things, good and bad, every single day. And a lot of it is out of our control. So, friend, I want to thank you all for joining me today. I'm your host, Shevvy Mack, founder and CEO of Mack Leadership Academy, 22 plus 22 plus years as an Air Force veteran. Well, 22 plus years serving the United States Air Force, now a veteran. And now I help you as a business owner to elevate your leadership, increase your team performance and your growth while regaining your time. And if you are in an organization and you're looking to bring someone out to speak, train, and develop your folks, then I invite you to send me a message. I would love to have a conversation to share more how I can support you and your team as a whole. If you're a business owner, reach out. If you're looking to get your time back because you don't have the capacity to do the additional things in your business, then definitely reach out to me. And don't forget to talk to yourself positively. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, have an amazing day. And I will see you all on the next episode of Lead Like a CEO. Ciao.